on Royal FM entitled Topics and Realities. Schools, it was announced this week, will resume across Cameroon on June 1, 2020 if the coronavirus pandemic in the country is contained. Not only that, the 20 barrier measures government instituted beginning March 17, 2020 have been extended by 15 more days. The above information was made known this week following an evaluation meeting of the Interministerial Committee for the follow-up of measures taken against COVID-19. How did you welcome the news of a possible school resumption come June 1 nationwide? How do you rate the practice of the measures put in place to help contain the spread of the coronavirus in the country, given that the measures have been renewed for another 15 days? The PM also did talk about an urgent determination to accompany measures to support the most affected sectors and households. How do you think this should be done? The above questions and many others surrounding our main topic, a lone teaser, do form part and parcel of today's program. Ulrich Kemwe is a sound technician. He is equally a video editor. Editorial coaching is done by Carol Prudence Tinchu and Louise Studios Clark. Coordination is done by station manager Roger Kiekdikiki. Meanwhile, general supervision is done by Reverend Pastor Emmanuel Nwolbisai. And at the anchor, I am Grace Limunga Mokake. Let's If you are just tuning in, the program is Topics and Realities, and we are broadcasting on Royal FM 88.4 stereo. Now, if you want to take part in the program, you can either call us or send us a text message via 655 54 34 57 655 54 34 57 or 671 15 73 21 671 15 73 21. I repeat the access codes once more: 655 54 34 57 655 54 34 57 or 671 15 73 21 671 15 73 21. The program is Topics and Realities. Good afternoon, Nelson Lambris.
Good afternoon, Grace Limgamukake. Good afternoon to the listeners of Royal FM. Good afternoon to the technicians, and good afternoon to Ebel Summary.
How are you doing, Nelson?
I do exist, as I'm always saying. I'm praying and waiting for the day that I will start living life in this country.
I don't know. Somebody once asked me this question. Why is Nelson always saying that I do exist? He says I really want him to explain what is the meaning of I do exist.
Okay, you take for example, if you want to live life, you must have the basic needs around you. It means you must have a good drinking water, as we're taught in the primary.
Yep.
Meaning water should be void of smell, taste, and color. But it is not it means we are existing, we are not living. You need to have the basic things: a good road, a shelter over your head, a good one, of course, transportation, feeding, and all those things are just the basic things in life. When you're sick, you rush to the hospital and you are taken full care of. Not that free of charge, but you need to be able to foot all your bills. You pay your hospital bills, you pay the tuition fee of your kids, you pay your house rent, you fuel your car, you put a credit on your phone. The call in a village, you can able to attend to one or two persons, means you are now living life. But if you cannot do all those things, it means you are just existing. You are not living. And most Cameroonians are just existing. They are just struggling to survive. They are not living their life, because in Cameroon it will be difficult for you to see a boy of 30 having a house of his own, a car, and a family. It's like a miracle in this country. But we see in other countries people of 28, 27, 30, they're already family persons. They have a wife, a car, a house. These are very normal things. It's not magic. But in our country, it has become something magical, and it's like it's not something you can do it. And you see people of let's say 30, if they have these things, people will be saying that maybe they have joined a society, or maybe they have I don't want to use that word. So that is the reason I'm always saying that I exist, but I don't live.
Abel, good afternoon. Abel Belasamari.
Good afternoon, Grace Limunga Mukake. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I like the explanation which Nelson just gave. If we want to go through that, by that hypothesis, it actually means that the word existence should not even be the right word to even use, because maybe we have already the existence should be something else. But thank God for his explanation, because a lot of people have been asking that. It's a pleasure for me to be here, Grace Limunga Mukake, this afternoon, to share also my view in nation building.
How are you doing, Abel?
Well, I'm fine. Coupling we work under the hardship period of the coronavirus. We should be able to become, my little girl in the house call me these days ninja, because of the face mask. You need to wear it all the time. You need to be able to, first of all, take proper security of yourself as you move along the way, as you enter into the bus, the taxis, and all the like. So certain habits that were taught in primary school, it is now applicable. You move with hand sanitizer, you greet somebody, you sanitize your hand. So we have been coupling with that situation in Cameroon as for now.
Okay.
With the increase in economic hardship these days also.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mr. Jules Raymond Fula, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Grace. I'm very glad to be here once again. I am from the ruling party, the CPDM. As you are knowing, we have now 152 parliamentarians, we have 316 mayor, we have 70 senators, we have 13 mayor over 40. So we are very glad, we are very proud of us. We didn't say that it's a paradise, but for us, the member of the CPDM, we have to, I can say it, you only have to go to thank the people who allow us to have a social representative. So the CPDM is the party of the people.
So
it's the most popular party in this country. And last, we have the head of state. The head of state of this country, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, who is also not only a member, but the founder of the CPDM. So I want to greet him and all his collaborators, and all my comrades, all my sympathizers, all the followers of my party, the CPDM.
We are still awaiting Noah Roger of the CRM party to join us this afternoon, and if possible, Dr. Eric Ashinko as well. The program is Topics and Realities, and we are broadcasting on Real FM 88.4 stereo. Move straight to one of our topics of today. The head of state has taken some new measures in line with the fight against COVID-19 in Cameroon. I'll begin with you, Nelson Lambris. How did you welcome this week's measures, passing through the release of some prisoners to the announcement of possible school resumption in June, to the news talking about the determination to accompany the most affected sectors in the country? How did you welcome all of that?
You said who did that?
The head of state.
The head of state. But I didn't hear him talk as the head of state.
The PM spoke on behalf of the head of state.
There's no prerogative in the constitution that gives the PM to be the mouthpiece of the head of state. The PM is the head of government who is there to implement the public policy being fixed by the head of state. He is not there to come and tell us that the head of state said that. It is done nowhere. And I don't want to compare Cameroon with other country, but I want us to remain under the ambit of the constitution. Grace Limunga Mukake, when I listened to the declaration and the postponement of the 15 days quarantinism in our country, I said, okay. And again, concerning the presidential decree that actually reduced the penal sentence to those that were convicted in our prisons in Cameroon, I gave it a lot of applause. But again, there is something I want to say. The President of the Republic under the President of the Republic under Section 8 of the 18 January Constitution that was amended and supplement that of the 2nd June 1972 Constitution give the head of state this prerogative. It's a discretionary power. And this discretionary power, when it's being taken as per the penitentiary, it has 4 phases. The first of it is clemency. A presidential clemency simply means that if you are being convicted beyond reasonable doubt, means you are now a prisoner, you are serving a prison term, the President of the Republic can decide and sign a presidential decree and cleanse you of all the crimes, and you gain your civic and civil right, and you are being discharged and acquitted in prison instantly without any condition. Now the second is a presidential pardon, and the presidential pardon is being divided into 3 different types. That is a presidential amnesty, a presidential reduction or swapping of the criminal sentences, and a discontinuance, and a presidential pardon itself. Now, what the president signed was a presidential pardon that had to reduce the criminal sentences of prisoners. Those that were still in waiting trials, the presidential degree has nothing to do with them. You must have a prison term. In the penal law, this is a condition sine qua non for you to benefit from a presidential clemency, presidential amnesty, or presidential pardon. What happened with Maurice Kamto in the days behind was a presidential discontinuance of a case. And most people are going and trying to misinterpret the law. The President of the Republic did not free whosoever. He simply swapped the prison sentences or simply reduced them. Those that had a death sentence were reduced to life imprisonment. Those that have life imprisonment were given 25 years, 10 years, 10 years, 5 years, 5 years, 3 years, and 3 years, 1 year. And those that had less than 3 years, they were supposed to serve 1/2 of their prison term. Meaning that if you were in prison and you have 3 days to be in prison before you leave the prison, the president have given you that prerogative to spend just a day and you'll be discharged and acquitted. Now, concerning what the Prime Minister said, giving orders to Cameroonians on how they are going to curb the situation we are facing today. I'm talking about the COVID-19. Sincerely speaking, Grace Limungamukake. I pity myself at times if I'm being called a Cameroonian.
Why?
We have a contract. We have a contract with somebody we call the president of our country. We have a contract from the day that the president accepted to put in his candidacy to stand as a presidential candidate in 2018. I don't want to go back to the yesteryears. It was the beginning of a contract, and 3 key words are being written in a contract. There must be a general acceptance between the offeree and the offerer. That is, there must be the base of the contract. The second thing is it must be binding, and the third thing, it must be enforceable by the law court. We have a social contract and a real contract between Cameroonians and the head of state. This contract was enforceable from the day the head of state took an oath of office in front of Cameroonians. Go to the Constitution, the 18th January Constitution of 1996, that amend and supplement the 2nd of June 1972 Constitution in Article 7 and also in Article 14 of the Electoral Code that well spells out the proceedings of the oath of office. That is where the contract becomes enforceable. After saying this, what the president needs to sign, that is where the contract becomes enforceable. The head of state, on the day of the oath of office, he is supposed to take an oath of office in front of Cameroonians. And the wordings of the oath of office is supposed to be read out to him by the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is the emanation of the people of Cameroon, because his election is being done by direct universal suffrage. The head of state, the Speaker will ask the head of state in Article 7 in the Constitution and Article 14, and I quote, "Mr. President-elect, do you pledge yourself on your honor to faithfully discharge your duty entrusted to you by the people? Do you swear before God and all men? Do you swear before God and all men to protect, to preserve, to defend the Constitution and the laws of Cameroon? To watch over the Commonwealth of Nation, to watch over the Commonwealth of Nation, and you devote all your effort in preserving the unity, the integrity, and the independence of Cameroon fatherland." End of quote. The president standing and raising his right hand in front of the Cameroonian people without fear nor favor, without threats, without duress, meaning that his conscience is clear. He's doing it with his conscience. Nobody's behind with a gun. And he answer, "I do so swear." In other words, I so do swear. That is where the contract becomes binding. Meaning that if you read Article 8, right down to Article 8, sub 6, it gives the prerogative of the president. The president shall be responsible in any public life of this country. The president. Now, we are in a situation where the economy has been paralyzed. Children are not going to school. Our borders has been closed. Everything has come to a standstill. And the person who is acting on oath stays quiet. And people are telling me, the minister said, are we in Jambo country, where you'll be doubting if your president is there, if your president is not there, if your president is going to... We are seeing in other countries where they give a daily report of a president. What is it that in Cameroon it becomes as if we are playing gambling? No, the president will talk. No, he will not talk. He is there. No, he is not there. What type of... And then just of a sudden, I see my president with a foreigner. It means there is a total disrespect of the people that gave you their sovereignty. You are talking on the behalf of Cameroonians. And they have been begging and shouting and asking questions. Where is the president we voted? And you don't even give a blind eye. And today, in the midst of a crisis, a serious crisis, where people are being quarantined, you have the audacity to receive a foreigner in the Unity Palace of Cameroonians, where Cameroonians are begging to talk to you. You say, no, everybody should stay in a quarantine zone. And people come to give audience. I doubt if a Cameroonian go today to France to meet Emmanuel Macron for an audience, they will laugh at him. They will tell you, you need to stay in your country in the time of crisis. Sincerely, what the Prime Minister said. Anyway, he is the head of government, but he is not the head of state. The head of state needs to come and talk to Cameroonians and tell us, okay, these things are supposed to be implemented by the head of government, who is the Prime Minister. But sincerely, I'm not saying that Cameroonians should not support or should not respect the prerogative or the directive given by the government. But what I'm saying is the voice of the president needs to talk. It is not a favor. It is not a favor. There is nobody who have just rights and no obligation. everybody being employed somewhere, you must have your rights and obligation. The president is just from appointing the Grand Chancellor of Peter Philemon Yang as the Grand Chancellor. We respect him because that is the right that the Constitution gives him to appoint. The Constitution is also giving him duties and responsibility towards us. You cannot be a president where you enjoy just your rights and there is no responsibility. Far from that.
Okay. We have Declare a song. He says, Sobajo, my brother, happy to see you. I think that's for Lambris. Once again, okay, it's for you. Abu Dhabi.
It's a brother.
Says, I'm at work now, cannot partake in your program. Then we have Gilberto, who says, we should change our mentality in this country. We are not serious at all. I regret being a Cameroonian. God is still saying something. Nobody chose to be a Cameroonian, Gilberto. 655, 54, 34, 57, 655, 54, 34, 57, 671, 15, 73, 21, 671, 15, 73, 21. It says, let me take this message. Greetings to you guys in the studio and all the listeners of Real FM Cameroon. It's been a while. Hope you all doing great by God's grace in line with the COVID-19 issues rocking our beloved country, Cameroon, and the world. Just to indicate that I'm back again on air with you guys. Choma Emeka from Ekok. Yeah, Choma, we are back. Thank God. I'm happy to hear that you are doing well. George Kame says, good evening, Madam the moderator, and greetings to the panelists. Good evening to you, George. Hope you're doing well. Now, Mr. Fula, you've listened to Nelson Lambris, and I'm sure you've gone through social media. You've listened to Cameroonians talk on the streets, and many people are asking the question, why is it that our head of state cannot talk to us? Now, you in the CPDM party, is it that you're telling him not to talk to the people or what? People want to hear him talk.
First of all, Grace, I'm not coming in to give lessons to anybody. But you know that a radio program is not a meeting, a political meeting. Neither a political meeting nor a classroom. If you have so many things to do, it's simply to enter to a political party, then you express yourself. You cannot come to a serious a radio like that, and also a serious program like that, to say rubbish thing. You know, this is a country. The democracy, Grace, is the respect, the fully respect of the text, the existing. You cannot invent. If you, I heard that some of you are how can I say you are
the viewers,
viewers, and
yes.
will say that is regretting why it's no Cameroonian. You have the choice to have a northern nationality. You can even go abroad where there is a paradise. But since you are here, you have to respect the laws and the text. Even those laws are not perfect.
Cool down,
please,
man. Cool down.
You have to respect the law of this country. That's why I used to say that to
I was quoting the Constitution.
Please. When you were howling a while ago, I didn't interrupt you, please. I used to say to my compatriot that those guys will regret President Paul Biya. If I was the head of state of this country, I can assure you that some of your invitees will never come out of this studio.
Why?
I tell you, please. You know, democracy is not the way of giving everything, telling everything. It's not an angel compliment. It's not a place you can say everything. You have a lot of contempt concerning the head of state. The head of state don't have any explanation to give to you. Any explanation. The head of state can act through a decrease, through nomination, through acts, through choice. The head of state don't have any, how can I say, any advices from you. Who are you? Who are you?
I'm sorry that.
Who are you?
Please. I'm sorry to say. Maybe Mr. Fula does not understand.
Please.
Are you fighting?
Maybe.
Please.
Maybe.
You know, that's why we don't like some program. You know, we hope that when there is they are talking about democracy.
He has not made any point.
Democracy
He
is
just laments. You have not given any point here. You are lamenting and giving intimidations.
You know,
make your point. Stop lamenting, man.
Please,
Gentlemen, please.
Make your point. Make your point.
Gentlemen,
He's just lamenting and not saying anything.
You don't have any lesson to give me. Please. You was howling a while ago. You took all your time. Nobody interrupt you. When you are talking about democracy,
go ahead,
you have to listen to other people. You are not here. You are not here in the classroom. And even in the classroom, for me, concerning myself, I don't know whether I have any lesson to receive from you. I tell you that I will land by saying that democracy is good, but democracy doesn't mean that there is a ground where a playing ground where you can say everything. You can say everything without any respect, without respecting even the institution, even the institutionalist. The head of state is not your classmate. You don't have nothing in common, nothing. And before talking to the head of state, you must have the legality and the legality, the legitimacy and the legality. You are nothing. You don't have any legality. You don't have any legitimacy, and you are talking to the head of state like that. Who are you? So I will end by saying that for the viewers and the listener, the head of state is there, is working. Head of state has his own style. There are some people who overlike noise, like some of your invitees, who are over noisy for nothing, rubbish. But the head of state is a man of action. The head of state used to say that action speaks louder than words. Action speaks louder than words. So if you want to listen to the head of state, if you want to hear the head of state, you must follow the action and the decision is taken. That's what I wanted to say.
Grace Mugamkoke, I'm sorry to maybe Mr. Noah Roger will permit me saying what. Every point I gave here was based on the ambit of the Constitution. I quoted the Constitution in everything I'm saying. What Mr. Fuller is doing is going against the preamble of the Constitution. If you read the Constitution of this country, nobody shall harass on grounds of religion, philosophy, political opinion, philosophy on the behalf of the subject, respect to public policy.
Who are you?
It's against the Constitution. Harassing me and intimidating me, telling me
no, I don't get it. I tell you the truth.
The problem is you were just lamenting. You are lamenting.
You are lucky. You understand me?
I'm talking
you
to
said
the
I
head
didn't
of
understand
state.
French.
You are not the head of state.
You are lucky.
You say I don't have legality.
You are over lucky.
You too.
You are over lucky.
You too.
Who are you? You don't
have
neither legitimacy nor legality.
Please, gentlemen,
you are nothing.
You are construct. We are here to construct. Please.
I'm nobody.
Please. Please, Mr. Fuller, please.
Who are you?
Mr. Noah Roger, good afternoon.
You are nobody. You are not
Please permit me to welcome Mr. Noah Roger.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to my co-panelists. Good afternoon to Cameroonians who are victims of another war called by de facto President Paul Biya because he gave way to the deadly disease which is called coronavirus when he refused to take necessary measures to prevent Cameroonians from that pandemic. So I want first of all to notice that some of your guests who speak louder than others do not abide by the rules of their own government as far as the different measures concerning the fight against the coronavirus are concerned. I see that they don't have any face shields and they are speaking loud, spreading droplets which could get some people sick because until they have been tested, we don't know what is their biological status. That's it.
Another one.
That's it. I don't know exactly what Dr. Fuller was talking.
No, Mr. Fuller.
Whether it was English,
Mr.
it was French or another language.
Mr. Fuller, please.
Because I got nothing from all this talking louder and louder. Okay. I think That is proof of the fact that those supporters to the regime lack facts that give them grounds to support their champion. I want to say that the head of state, whoever he is an employee of the people of Cameroon. The people of Cameroon is the boss, and we have the right
To give instruction.
to question our employee, to ask where is our employee is. We have gone more than a month into this fighting this disease, and we have not got any speech, any address from our employee, which is de facto President Paul Biya. And my dear compatriot that I don't hate, Mr. Fuller, is here to say that we have to be happy with the conspicuous absence of our employee.
Absent.
No, it's not possible. We cannot accept that. When the employer calls you, the employee has to come. And the people of Cameroon are asking for their president. Where is he? Where is he? Why is not he is not addressing to the people? Why is not leading the fight against the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Those are the questions and rightful questions.
Yeah. Let's take this call online. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you all in the studio.
Good afternoon, sir.
Special greetings to my brother Belak Samari.
Thank you very much,
I
Mute.
am Henry Bonlak.
Okay, Bongla.
It's very sad to hear all what is happening there. In fact, it's a very good program we like listening to, and we are favorite listeners to this program. But I know in this country, the truth is always bitter, but the most is spoken. My brother have just read all what is supposed to be done by the president. I find no reason why somebody should be intimidating him. If he was the president, somebody will not go out of the procedure. I don't think we come to the studio to enlighten people and give our point of view. Our president was elected by the Cameroonians, all of us. He rules all of us, and when in a moment like this, at the time, we need him to talk to us, to convince us, to comfort us in a situation like this. And we have the right to it as we are Cameroonians. And the right, you are Cameroonians, we have the right to the president's speech, to listen from him talk to his students. But why should somebody intimidate another one in the studio? In fact, I'm very discouraged. That's the same thing he did one on the radio station and insulted the panelists. I don't think Mr. Fuller should continue in that system. It's very disgraceful. A Cameroonian and a doctor like him. It's very sad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your opinion counts as well. We have some messages here. George Kame says, Mr. Fuller, he is a taxpayer and he has the obligation to hold the government accountable. You are well educated. You should know that. Once more, George Kame again. Who are you is killing Cameroon. Look how President Trump is having press updates to pressmen, with pressmen. Yes, Mr. Noah Roger, were you done?
Yeah, it's okay for me.
Abel Belasamari. You listened to the various measures which were passed across or which have been taken this week. I don't know, at this point in time, is that what you were expecting to hear, for example? Schools will resume June 1. They're going to take into consideration or look into the case of those who are mostly affected because of the coronavirus and all the rest.
Grace, we have a problem in this country. The first problem is that we have something which is like monotonous, which we have decided not to allow it to collapse, no matter be the case. We know a lot of people have the obligations that examination must take place in this country, no matter the cost. And for them, they want to bring back school by all possible means so that people should have should write their certificate and all the like. They care less about the quality of the exam. They care less about the quality of the examination. The question about the setting, no. What is most important is that the calendar should be fulfilled. For what reason? Best known to policymakers. Talking about the economy, yeah, it is a good motive. We need to help because the coronavirus have actually affected every aspect. But when you talk about selecting some economic stakeholders, I don't know whether which one you are going to select and abandon another one. I don't know whether the government is able to do an inventory to know those particular sectors that have been affected and all the like. You and I in this radio know how the issue of coronavirus have affected our own sector in our own way. You know what those who are selling the market are going through. You know what the taxi drivers are going through and all the like. So it is a global issue. What the government should be thinking, or what I expected from the government, particularly from the those who are doing the mandatory to talk, is to tell us how they are going to revamp the economy. Tell us the strategy they are going to put in place, particularly at this point in time when the International Monetary Fund is saying that they cannot cancel some of our debt. You know, Cameroon still fall within the list of countries that are owing debt. They could have told us that, okay, after this coronavirus, since apparently all the sectors in our economy have been affected, this is the measures that we have to do, so that within the shortest possible time of 1 year or 6 months or 5 years, we are going to recover our economic to this status. That was what I expected. I did not expect that they should talk about a particular group. But Grace, coming to what the others have been saying, we are talking about communication. And I like when they talk about communication, because that is my field of study. I know what is going on. Lambi, the constitutionalist, is talking about something which is very fundamental in the Constitution. Mr. Fuller is talking on the line of being a politician. He has the political mentality. But we are asking the question, why is the head of state not communicating to his people? It boils down to something when you do communication and when you do political communication. It is not the first time. Personally, Abel, it's not surprising to me. If he could have come out and talk, I would be surprised. What is happening? This is a new method he's using. Somebody that have studied his communication strategy, I know that is his method. The isolationism system of governance, the silence method. Even somebody went as far as defending a thesis in this country, and he was awarded a doctoral degree, meaning that he did his research very well and to discover that the head of state is somebody that does not communicate. So Cameroonians should just have the mentality set that the head of state does not communicate. He cares about the people. He doesn't talk to his people. He does what he prefers. He communicates when he wants to. But my question is this: does the Constitution give him that prerogative to do so? That is my problem, because in every society, for every growing nation, what binds the people to live together is the respectance of the law. If we don't respect the law, there is no way we can survive in every society. If Strom is talking about giving the daily updates in what is happening in the United States of America concerning the coronavirus, because the Constitution gives him that prerogative to talk to the people, and he himself knows the consequences when he doesn't respect that aspect of the Constitution. The next day he will be impeached, and it is not even the first time he has the government of the United States of America have impeached the president of the United States. Ask yourself, in the political communication or in politics in communication or politics in communication, does Cameroon have that prerogative? Yeah, President Pobia is the employee. But there is a problem. He has been given absolute power by the same employee. He's no longer like somebody who gives account to the people. He's the head of the judiciary. Nobody can dare talk to him. That is why somebody will sit in the panel and tell you that you don't have any lesson to give to him. Yes, he knows that he doesn't do that, because he's the head of the judiciary. You cannot take him to court. You cannot impeach him. It boils down to a particular issue. If we had the Constitution, he himself have just brainstormed or educated the Cameroonian people to know that he has to talk to them twice a year, on the 10th of February and on the 31st of February. If those two December, if those 2 dates are not there, forget whether he exists. To me, it is his own political strategy that he's putting across the people. He wants to put himself in a way where people should be talking about him every day. When you talk about him every day, you keep him on the political line. I want to base on the communication and his impact. You make him to become popular on a daily basis. His name doesn't wipe out in the political scene. And whenever there is an election, he will not be going in like a novice. He will be going like somebody who is being well known already, because his name has always been in the press. His name has always come out, whether being positive or negative. And when you look at most politicians, that is the method. So they use some of those political communication strategies to keep them afloat, especially when there is no political event like elections that they can go in. They don't want to stay for long. Do you know how many Cameroonians glued to their TV sets just to watch when he was announced on social media that he has received the French president, just to watch that, to verify whether he is alive or not? But what Lambris is saying, it is the fundamental truth. It is the responsibility, it is the right of the Cameroonian people to have an update of their president, whether he's healthy, whether he's capable of ruling the country, whether he's having a mental set. But we have this problem because I still stand on something, Grace. We have a colonial system of administration that we inherited, and it is affecting us today. And if we don't think like Cameroonian people, if we don't come up with good reforms on how to change some of these things, that is how our country is going to remain. I don't know whether the next president that will come up in Cameroon, or maybe God will touch him to touch some of those things, because no matter how we talk here, the law does not give him that prerogative to say that if you don't come out on the cases like this coronavirus to talk, because then he is a legalist. He always calls himself a legalist. And if he's failing an aspect of the law, those in the judiciary supposed to bring him and say, Mr. President, this is what is happening. This is part of the law. And you cannot be the guarantor of the law, and you are disobeying the law. But who in Cameroon is capable of taking that bold step? I don't think there is, because our politicians are those. Our politicians in Cameroon, our politicians in Cameroon are that type of a politicians that they have a lot of skeletons in their cupboard. And when they want to show their faces out, sometimes they bring some of those things to compromise them, and they sit quiet. That is why you see we have a flopping type of government where even those in the judiciary cannot talk. Even those in the National Assembly cannot talk. Even those, so those are some of the things what Cameroonians should base their mind on to see how we can change some of this law. If I'm working here at Royal FM, Grace, if Emmanuel Noebisa, who is my boss, employs me and give the instruction to the station manager that the work of Ebe is to come and read the news at 6 o'clock in the morning and go back home. When I come and read, he doesn't have to complain that I am present or not. What does my contract stipulate here at Royal FM? If the contract of the head of state, where he swears in front of the National Assembly, says that when there are situations like this, then the Cameroonian people need to hold him accountable for betrayal of that clause in their constitution. Those are the type of things. We cannot live in a lawless situation. But when we live within the armpit of the law, that is how it is going to help us to develop our nation. Development can always come from the respect of the law, the respect of the constitution, the respect of humanity, and all the type of stuff. We cannot live in cacophony. That is my point.
The program is Topics and Realities, and we are broadcasting on Royal FM 88.4 stereo. We have Cyril MC who says, greetings to you, Grace and Abel. More grace to your shoulders. Be safe out there amidst the COVID-19. Hey, CY. Hope you are doing well out there. 655 54 34 57 655 54 34 57 671 15 73 21 671 15 73 21. Those are our access codes. Yes, Mr. Fuller.
Yes. I want to react very briefly. I don't listen to myself. Okay, thank you very much. We used to laugh when I listened to some of the guys who are taking the floor in some radio and television. President Paul Biya is not a newcomer in a political area of this country. President Paul Biya has started the work of for this country since September 62. He has started this work at the level of the presidency,
which is not the case now. By 50, you are unemployed in this country now.
At the level of the presidency of the republic. So the head of state is not, how can I say it, a low class man, or how can I say it, a common man.
Yeah.
Yes, it is not a common man, it's not a novice. And the Cameroonian know very well, I don't want to say the real Cameroonian, the Cameroonian knows very well their head of state. He is not a man of spectacle. He's not a man of a show. It's not there for, how can I say,
He's not how can I say, a political actor. No.
But it's a matter of corruption.
Please. I don't listen to myself. I don't know whether.
Is it okay, Ulrich? He's on.
Verify that.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Fuller. Go ahead.
The head
Is
of
it
state.
okay now?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The head of state don't like so many spectacle for nothing.
Yeah.
So many noise for nothing. The head of state, very well known by the Cameroonian, those who have elected him, knows that the head of state is educated by the Christians, the Catholic guys,
Wonderful.
the Catholic leader. And in a Catholic church, they don't like over noiser, useless over noiser.
They don't want to noise.
Those who are talking for nothing, they are even talking about subject they don't master. They are talking about things they don't master. The head of state has this education to say that when you have to take the floor, you have something very important to say, first of all. And then secondly, when you have something to say, you must have something very important and something new to say to tell to your people. And the Cameroonians know their head of state. He's not an overtalker. He's not a noisy guy. They know their head of state. You have only few jokers in the radio and television. They come and do a spectacle. The constitution has said that. What about the constitution? The Cameroonian knows they master their head of state. If you overlike speech, if you overlike spectacle, you have to go only. You have the choice. You can go to Spain, French, or even the United States.
What for?
The head of state they are talking every day, and you have the result. I don't want to laugh at some of the foreign head of state. But for instance,
coming here with help and you agree.
I will, of course, I will learn. You know that the American head of state he's speaking every morning, but you have the result now talking about the coronavirus. That means that the speech, the word of head of state is not a miracle solution. And then, as I told you earlier, the head of state is saying that actions, nominations, texts, and some of the activity of them speak louder than words.
You already say that.
That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
And the Cameroonians know very well the head of state.
Dimanche
Only
Pierre.
some jokers in your radio and television who come and do a kind of spectacle.
We don't have jokers here anyway. Dimanche Pierre, good afternoon, Grace.
I'm not sure that they
all your
even voted.
guests.
I'm not sure.
Hello, Dimanche Pierre. Hope you're doing well. Nelson Lambert. I know there is not much we can do at this point in time, but do you think that if at least he would have spoken to Cameroonians, would have at least helped to appease? Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Boy.
Yeah, Bamenda boy, how are you?
I'm doing great, and you guys?
I'm doing well. Thank
Oh,
God.
Mr. Lebe, how are you guys?
I'm fine, sir.
It's been a long time, man.
You came the other day in the radio before I could even realize you have already left.
Really? Oh, you could not even flash me back. Wow. I'm sorry for that then.
Alright, boss.
Oh, Madam Grace.
Yes, my brother.
Actually, I just want to underline something maybe that most Cameroonians have not yet understood about it. Is that the power of the President of the United of our Cameroon has been given by God. We should only allow God maybe to decide whatsoever about this with our President. Because if you see what maybe the diaspora guys have been putting on, lines telling about our president, telling a lot of lies, you understand? Blindfolding our Cameroonians with that we are living in Cameroon. So you have to understand some certain things. That we Cameroonians are living in Cameroon. We have to just understand that this man has been blessed by the God, by our Almighty God. It's a blessing to this nation, truly speaking. Because several times they have keep on telling you a lot of fake things about him, and later on you will realize some different issues about this man. So it's time for Cameroonians, we the Cameroonians, to understand that this is a blessing from God. We just allow God to one day say, okay, it is over, Mr. President. It is over for you. if we depend from these diaspora guys who keep on telling all of lies, fooling Cameroonians that even the president has been died, he's dead, there's no more, all stuff of lies telling. I'm pleading with our brothers and sisters that we should keep calm. This is the best president for now. When times come, maybe God will say something different.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Amen.
Boy. Thank you for your contribution. Hello to you people in the studio. It's too disappointing when we listen to people whom call themselves talk like Fula is like Fula. Oh my, is gesticulating in the studio. I personally wish to tell Fula that he doesn't have the monopoly of knowledge. Tell him to meet Lambris for private lectures. They of the regime. When they Kling is just painting the image of the regime. He's pretending to be supporting. Thanks. That's coming from Kane. We have another one here. It says Dr Fula, l'audio président Mobutu qui volait sur les nuages à la télé est mort. Malheureusement, il était mortel et pouvait faire face lui aussi à la justice du vrai Dieu qui devait décider soit qu'il ira soit en enfer ou au paradis, et il est actuellement dans les poubelles de l'histoire du monde. Il n'y a eu aucun chef d'État à son vivant en l'appelant le Sphinx, le sage dans toute sa gloire éphémère. Eric de Tekassi. Thank you very much, Eric, for your text message. 655 54 34 57 655 54 34 57 671 15 73 21 671 15 73 21. Yes, Nelson Lambris, I was asking that, do you think if he at least had spoken, it would have at least appeased the minds of Cameroonians?
That is not the point. Because those that are supporting him are telling us that he's talking to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister speech is not also a remedy to the pathology. It's not a remedy to the pathology. But that's not even my point. That's not my point. My point is,
the Prime Minister is not
please,
the sick man.
Grace Limungamukake, please. When we come here,
when he will finish talking,
when we come here, we don't come here to lament or to gesticulate on certain points. All the points I've given is based on the laws. Let him verify the constitution and tell me that I'm lying, and then I will understand. It's not because you support the president that you should go out of the ambit of the law. Why is it that Paul Biya is the president of this country? It's because of the law. Because people respect the constitution. The constitution says that somebody will be elected through universal suffrage, and the president becomes the president. What I'm saying is, they should not misunderstand the functions and the duty of the president and that of an individual. I'm talking about the prerogative that the constitution gives the person who becomes a president. I don't even care about President Paul Biya. It's not my problem. But I'm talking about the principles. If you read Article 9 of the Constitution, sub 2, it says that if Cameroon is being in a situation of a threat, where the integrity is being threatened, the president of the republic shall address the nation by message. It's in the constitution, by message. Shall in law means must. Shall address the nation by message. I'm talking about what is in the constitution. Those that have their constitution at home, read Article 9 sub 2 of that constitution, and you tell me what I'm saying if I'm lying. I'm not a fanatic. I'm saying what is real. People should not misunderstand. He's talking about his party. We are not doing partisan politics here. The life of Cameroon is at stake. The COVID-19 is real. It's killing fellow Cameroonians, and we know how many hundreds of them are being affected. It's not a joking matter that we come and we start making politics. It's not a time of politics. Whether you belong to the civil society, to the other parties or the CPDM, we are supposed to stand as one and fight this common enemy. It's not a question of telling me that I don't have the right to talk to my president. You too don't have the right to talk to me. You have no legality, no legitimacy to talk to me. Who are you to talk to me? I'm not your student. And I will never be, you cannot teach me, because I've gone further at that level. I've gone further level. Okay. If you want to measure in terms of academics, he is a doctor. Very soon I'll be a doctor, so he can never teach me. You get what I'm saying? So it's not a situation where we need to come and we lament. It's not a time to preach love. It's not a time to preach love to an individual. Now is the time.
The ruling party.
Now is the time. Now is the time to preach love to a nation, to a country. Keep individuals aside.
I don't know who
if you love this country, bring a solution that can curb the COVID-19. I should not come here and tell Mr. Paul Biya you are so handsome. It will not solve the problem. You ask a question if his speech is going to solve the problem. Sincerely, I've listened to people of the ruling party and those of the government say this. It's not important. If that was the case, nobody should talk. Me talking here is not a remedy to that situation. The Prime Minister talking, the Minister of Health, who is not a medical doctor, but an academic doctor, thousands of speeches he has been making is not a solution to the COVID-19. If that was the case, then we should keep quiet. You should not even treat, because his treating is not also a remedy. So he have the right to talk and assure Cameroonians we have a common enemy. We need to sacrifice, as some of us are already sacrificing, in order to curb this. He's saying that we need to quarantine ourselves, we need to contribute in the National Solidarity Fund. Those are the things that we want to hear from the person that the voice have authority, and the authority can only be the President of the Republic. If you ask your child to carry water and give you for you to have your shower, it can never be when you send another person to go and tell your child. But if it comes from your mouth, that your voice is authority. The voice of the president is authority. His signature is authority. It's not a question of we preaching love to an individual. Preach the love to a nation. And when we solve this, we'll start doing our partisan politics.
Yes, Grace, I want to come in. You asked a question. Will the head of state address be the remedy? I will answer.
Help to appease.
Yes, I will answer yes. I draw my illustration in 2008 during the February strike.
We have a caller online. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, your radio. Can you turn it off completely, please?
Good afternoon to your panel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Abel. Good afternoon to Dr. Fuller.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Mr. Fuller, please.
Yeah, but Mr. Doctor is the same.
Mr. Fuller
is a title.
Mr. Fuller.
Yeah, good afternoon to the CPDM representative.
Yes,
thank you very much.
We are happy to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Yes, Grace, speaking to the Cameroonian people is part of the solution. He recomforts, he guarantees. When the president speaks, he reassures. People cannot vote you into office. Then in a time of crisis, you are hiding. Ça monte la lâcheté. C'est qu'on dit en français. Tu es lâche. Moses did not hide when he was struggling to remove the people of Israel out of Egypt. Despite all the persecution in front, behind, beside him, to his face, he stood with them and removed them out of Egypt. So in a time of health crisis like what we are going through in Cameroon, a president hiding is a crime against Cameroonians. It shows that he's no longer in control. You cannot be giving instructions in hiding. The chief commander is at the war front because we are in a war against the COVID-19. So speaking would have helped a lot. This COVID-19 virus was discovered late last year. That is in December. And we, Cameroon, we are a direct partner with China.
Yeah.
If we were good in research, si on était bien en renseignement, we would have known that Cameroon would also be contaminated. Yeah. Because we have Chinese, we have businessmen that come from China that goes into China. Yeah. So we would have taken measures so that the pandemic should not enter our nation. The president would have announced total confinement maybe around February. Without notwithstanding, he refused to speak. We remember a flight on the 17th of March that landed in the Douala International Airport with some Cameroonians and expatriates contaminated with this virus. And the government did not do anything to save other Cameroonians that have been living quietly, that have been living in poverty, that have been crying for the situation to change. This government did not stop those people from evading the Douala International Airport, getting into families, getting into the society. Yeah. So there is a law that imprisons people that facilitate the propagation of such contaminated disease. Why is the Minister of Territorial Administration still out? Why is the Prime Minister still out? Why is the Minister of Transport still out? Why is the Director of Airport if the president would have taken stand, it would have helped a lot. So I may come back.
Yeah, thank you very much. Dimash PSs, I'll try to read Grace. We thank your guests for their presence in the studio. So I want to tell to them that we are also interested to be your guests. For that, they should consider themselves like as being privileged. Grace, make that your program should be a moment of education and not a time for a glory. And when education is done, we shall be humble and not to take any party. Anyway, Dimash Pierre, if you want to take part in the program, the doors are open and they are here to contribute, and we won't stop telling them thank you, because we know how difficult these moments are, but they've chosen to come here to give out their opinion. So we always tell them thank you and remain grateful. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon again, Madam Grace.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Madam Grace, good afternoon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, after the initial, you need to flash me back, please. After the program, you should flash me, please.
Okay,
I don't
sir.
have your number, I lost your number.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Madam Grace,
Yes.
this is Bamida boy coming back.
Yeah, Bamenda boy.
Yeah, Madam Grace, I'm one of Cameroonians who believe that God do exist, you understand?
Yes.
Nobody's
Right,
trying
so
to find a good
I'm very okay with my brothers who are coming up to say the president have to. His signature is very powerful, his words are very powerful, you understand? But there's one thing that I want to understand with my brother, that President Phobia is a president who has his own way of leading. I don't know, maybe that is blessing from God, I don't know. But I think actually normally the president needs to come up when there's time for crisis to talk, you understand?
Yep.
But he has never come up with any occasion to speak when there is a crisis. If you can probably remember, many Anglophones people have died because of what is going on in Northwest and Southwest.
Sure.
But the president have never come up to talk officially, maybe to address the issues. You understand? Many issues have occurred in Cameroon. The president always keeps silent, keep quiet and leave. So I think that is his own way, and God is also okay with the way he does things. So I think we should not only see that we should not insist that he should come out and talk. We should allow him to govern the way he is governing. Some other president will still come out and talk, but in America you can see Donald Trump comes every day and talk, but the crisis still continues. You understand? So that man, our president, is a blessing for the Cameroonians.
Yeah, you
Amen.
said
Don't allow our
said
president like that. I
Okay.
think
Amen.
we should keep on going up. We should come up and talk, because the American institutions are even worse than the one we have today. That he have never even made a statement.
Okay.
Amen, my brother.
Bamenda
Amen.
boy. Thank
So,
you.
Bamenda
so
boy, I want to
Thank
ask
you.
you if you have kids. I want to
Thank
ask you if you have kids.
For
So
sure
the
he
kids
does.
have the right to do whatever thing they want to do, because they are the direct reflection of God.
Now,
Okay?
today,
Any society have its own rules and regulations.
Okay,
You cannot tell
thank
me he has the right to do whatever thing
Thank
he
you,
wants.
Nelson. Thank you. Now, Mr. Noah Roger, today the measures have been prolonged to 15 more days. If I could ask you this question, how do you analyze the way Cameroonians are handling these measures? What would you say? Let's begin with Cameroonians first before we talk about the government.
Yeah, it's always good to lead by examples. We have the people, and we have of kind of statuses. We have some people who easily understand the measures and understand why they should be executed daily. But when we realize that some of those people misleading nation, I don't want to say misleading this nation, are doing exactly the contrary of what they are preaching to the people. And most of those the people in the villages and all areas follow those bad examples. There are still some people who don't believe that there is actually a spread of the coronavirus in the country. They take it as a matter of joke, and hence they do not comply with the measures taken. When you watch the TV, and then you see that some of those officials are not themselves abiding by those measures, then it explains why the people are following suit. But I want to say the times are really very difficult, and that what is at stake is our own health, is our own life. So we don't have to follow the bad example given by our misleaders, but rather we have to every single day take regular measures that allow us to protect our lives and the lives of our beloved people, members' family.
Yeah.
We have to wash our hands very often,
Very, very often.
and we have to wear our face mask as I'm doing now,
Yep.
which Mr. or Doctor, whatever he is, Fuller is not doing, because for him the law is for others. No, the minister, the prime minister did not say that you should hold it. He said you have to bear it. Actually, which is not the case.
No, you didn't listen.
So I think
You were
those
talking
are
about the text.
those are the
Yeah.
that's the reality.
public area and public
now,
transport.
when the government is asking people to wear the face mask, we have a problem because they have not planned for it. They should first make sure that there is a steady supply of face mask in the country. Now, which is not the case. They have told us that SICAM will be producing 5,000 daily, and they have come up with norms after some entrepreneurs have been already producing those masks. That shows that they were not prepared to handle such a crisis. They have not properly planned for it, how they will react when the crisis comes, as is the case now.
Yeah.
That shows simply that those misleaders are really misleaders. They are not prepared to govern this country in the interest of the people. That's why our president-elect and president of the Cameroon movement came up
Elected by
to ask the people to take their responsibility in terms of taking at hand their own health, their own life. And that's why we have called the people, Cameroonians, who believe in this nation and want to protect the lives of others, to contribute financially
We'll get to that.
in a support fund.
Yes, we'll get to that.
That's important. I just want to stress because that's
Yeah.
important and it should be stressed. And as far as the back to school on the 1st of June is concerned, when I watched the President Macron speech, I said, just wait, to my friend, just wait for a couple of days or so. The best students going to react the same way. It's going to say, okay, now is the time for children to go back to school. And the teacher in France said the 15th of May, and then the best students in Africa said the 1st of June. Whereas we have not evaluated the situation in the country, whether our schools are ready to host our students and teachers alike. You know that there are some government buildings that have been affected, where they have located some people infected of COVID-19. In other countries, before students come like that, there are teams of people going through those schools to carry out disinfections, so that when the students and teachers come back, they don't have any problem. And that should be, in fact, done gradually, as like France is doing. so that we can we first of all send some of them, and we see how it happens before asking other students to come back to school.
Bravo, Mr. Lambris. Please keep on wishing you courage and strength to attain high emissions. You are indeed a brave legalist. I'm jealous to say you are a blessing to that woman you are keeping in the house now. That's coming from Chomameka Nelson.
But what there is one thing I want to say to Mr. How do you call him? He called himself Mr. Bamenda.
Bamenda boy.
Bamenda boy. In fact, I want to urge him and even beg him, my brother, to leave God alone. God is very busy monitoring what's happening throughout the world, and we have to do the necessary things in order to protect our own country and our lives.
Yep.
Now is the time when every one of us should participate. Let God aside. Let's focus on what we have to do. There is a saying that I don't know if I'm right. That's God
helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Abdel bin Ismail. Hello guys, I missed this program. Hope Abel is okay. He's okay. He's fine. He's doing well. Yes, Mr. Fuller.
Please, in few seconds, I want to say two things to your politician. To your local politician.
No, there is no local politician here. Nobody is a local politician.
You are the
here.
international politician.
No, Mr. Fuller.
We have to be polite, eh?
There is no local politician here.
He's going very far now by teaching me.
Local politician here.
He want to teach me now a lesson of
he is of the CRM.
politeness.
You are of the CPDM. There is no local politician here.
Consider it as the last warning to you.
There is no local politician
Okay,
here.
so I want to say that in other countries where there are real
In other
opposition,
countries,
where there are other countries, of course, where there are real opposition, there we are facing a worldwide pandemic all over the world. There they have a kind of ceasefire. They say that we keep aside our local, our traditional fight in order to face this pandemic. When you are going to South Africa, you are going to Nigeria, to Senegal, there's a kind of ceasefire there, political ceasefire. But here in our country,
that's wrong.
My mommy, here in our country,
that's very wrong. Those political parties still criticize the government on certain aspects of handling the situation.
I didn't land. Yeah,
I cannot even let you land.
I didn't land. Here in our country where we have such politician, such local politician,
there is no local
and we have
politician.
such misleaders.
This is a national interest.
Which
you have
interest?
to keep aside. That's the only thing.
Which interest?
I agree with Lambris. The only thing is now you are facing a national, a worldwide pandemic.
While we have
Keep
we are
aside.
facing a pandemic,
Keep
you are still
aside.
stealing.
Keep
You are still
aside.
stealing, man. You are still stealing.
Keep
Your
aside.
people are still stealing.
Keep aside your political aspect. Now you
You
are
are facing
facing.
of the situation. You are still stealing.
Okay.
Every day stealing.
Okay.
You know that
Now they say there is a budget of 58 million billion to face the situation.
He's speaking
But what is true
more
is
than
that
me.
you're going to steal all that money.
Like
usual.
Even speaking more than me. And also, I want to remind to your local politician that
No.
Huh?
No local politician is here.
Okay. I want to remind to
He is a politician like you are.
your Cameroonian politician that you know you can have.
Doctors like this.
No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I came as a member of a political party.
Yeah, you're a fake doctor.
You can have your proposal, very good proposal, but you can make it in a very polite way. You don't need to. How can I say to insult to show a kind of misrespect to the to the authorities who have been, I remind him, elected.
By who?
The head of state.
By who?
The parliamentarian, senators, the mayors have been elected by the people. These local politicians have been elected by nobody. Nobody elected you. You don't have neither illegality nor illegality.
It is not a ping pong game.
Give me 1 minute. I want to say something. He said that to express yourself in this country, you have to be part of a political party. That is very wrong.
No. I said that you
That's
have
what you say to his
a legitimacy.
Yes. No, that's what you say.
No, a legitimacy.
I want to tell you that
Let's take
you
this
don't
one
have to
online.
be a member of a political party to express
No,
yourself.
Hello,
a
good
legitimity
afternoon.
and legality.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
You represent nobody.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Nobody,
sir.
you, Noah.
Mr. Fuller, please.
You represent nobody.
Mr. Fuller.
Salutation to your panel.
Yes, good afternoon, Evis.
Yes.
You represent tips. I prefer to represent nobody than
Evis,
tips.
go ahead.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
Evis, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to ask Mr. Fuga, assistant, that it is a worldwide fight. Where is his president? Where is his president to his people? That's just what the question I want to ask him.
As main topic, the CRM party of Professor Maurice Kamto has been making news for a while now. You're from the CRM party, Mr. Noah Roger. I'd like to ask this question. Why did you people choose to open your own account, knowing fully well that there is an account that has been created for all Cameroonians who wish to participate or to contribute in the fight against the coronavirus, but you chose to open your own account? What's the problem?
You know, everyone has realized how funny and incompetent this government is. Because if the government had at least given room to the alerts given by many Cameroonians, calling upon the government to stop accepting people flying into the country, I think we shall be able to live without coronavirus in this country. But like usual, they have opted not to do anything at all. And here we are with coronavirus. Official figures, which are not even true, say that we now have more than 1,000 infected people in the country. That is a lot for us. When I still say that those are official figures. In fact, to have a part of the reality, we have to double it, even triple those figures to know what to come to the reality of the situation in this country. And that's why talking also from what the experience we have had so far from official funds. You remember the World Cup funds some years back. Remember the Boko Haram funds where we collected money and items to help our brothers in the Far East region. So we have we've thought that it's now good for the people to handle themselves the situation. The fund was created not as part of our party, but a national non-partisan initiative with Cameroonians coming from all political parties, civil society, all walks of life, to try to address the situation, because we were left like orphans by the government. And that's why you see that the Survival Management Committee is presided over by someone coming from civil society, the president of the AG Association, which is not other than Pendaye Kuka. And today he has released the names of the other members of the management committee, and you see that you don't have any names coming from the CRM party. I think in all the structures we have only one name, which I spotted as coming from the CRM, Dr. Oko, which is our national secretary in charge of health and so on. So that's exactly why, and we have put together such a strong team so that we can have transparent management of the funds, which should only serve to provide the people with face masks and with hand sanitizers, because we have realized that those are some of the measures used in certain countries to curb the spread of the virus. Like in Hong Kong, all of the people there are wearing face masks when going out, and that has helped them stop the spread of the coronavirus in the country. So exactly that's what we have done as far as our party is concerned. And you also know that as a consequence of that, and the conspicuous absence of the de facto president, that is someone who decided that he is the president, although he was not elected by the people of Cameroon on the 7th of October of 2018. And that's why we have warned him to come out and address his people, because you can't be elected by people and then refuse to be by the side of those people at the times of crisis like now.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon. It's Charles coming back.
Yeah, Charles.
Pour ajouter l'eau dans le moulin de mon frère, M. Noah, de MRC, que j'apprécie beaucoup. Yes, great. You know, the basic hygienic conditions are good, prescribed by the World Health Organization. Washing of hands. We know so many Cameroonians don't have potable water. For about 3 days, I'm not listening to my favorite radio, Royal FM, because there were electricity kept. So how will people that have boreholes, that they don't have potable water, that have the boreholes, that function with an electronic engine that pulls water, how would they do if there's no electricity? So, I think the government should put at the disposal of Cameroonians surgical face masks. They should buy it and distribute it to Cameroonians. Because what we are discovering today is that if you don't have this our artisanal or traditional mask, they will catch you, you pay 6,000. It is wrong. If a Cameroonian is not wearing it, give him one. Leadership is by example. Everything should not be hit upon the backs of Cameroonians. So I think the government should distribute masks to Cameroonians, surgical ones. Then, secondly, I appreciate the move of Professor Maurice Kamto. When a leader is absent, other initiatives come up. The Solidarity Fund of the government came a little bit late, and it is very insignificant. 1 billion is not enough. It's very small. For a couple of nations, they disburse at least 5 billion. Here we are talking about the health of Cameroonians. And in English, there's an adage that says, health is wealth. If you are not well, you can't do anything. If the nation is sick, there will not be any money. So put this money at the disposal of Cameroonians to prevent themselves from this pandemic. So I think the initiative of Professor Kamto is laudable, and Cameroonians should continue putting in money in that account. It is laudable. It is not an illegal act, because the MRC party is a legal party. He has the right to ask for support when there is a natural disaster, when there is a pandemic, and the government should just control it. The decree did not say that the government should give an authorization. No, the decree said the government should control the act, and Maurice Kamto is hand open to the government to control the actions. So I don't see why there should be an enchantment against this initiative. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I want to continue exactly on where my brother Charles landed, because as he rightly said, the chairman of the management committee, Mr. Pentecoca, sent out letters to some institutions of the government for them to send representatives to that committee in order to oversee the implementation of the different actions of how the money is handled daily. And I want to tell you actually that exactly we have realized that the government has failed as far as distribution of masks is concerned, and that's why President-elect Maurice Kamto came up with the idea of distributing face masks to the people, because as I just said, we strongly believe that it can help. It can be very instrumental in curbing the spread of the disease. But I want to tell him that actually when you go to other countries, Hong Kong, even in France now, you're going to realize that people are using mostly traditional masks because it should be made clear that surgical masks are mostly used by the medical personnel, and the surgical mask is good only for 24 hours.
Okay.
That should be, the people should be informed on that.
Yeah.
Then let us wear masks, whether they are traditional or whatever. It's better to have it than not having like Mr. Fuller.
Hello, I love this program. Ask Mr. Fuller, when are they marching to the French embassy to thank small boy French president as he called for deleting Cameroon's debt? Abel Belasamari, beyond Professor Kamto's move.
Yes, Grace, I read an article which Mr. Alan Kem Richard, that you know him very well, is one of our lecturers in the journalism department, trying to put an analysis of the situation. And Mr. Noah just said something which we might take it as if it is a clown, but it is a reality. There is a statement that you cannot fool the people all the time.
No, you cannot. You can fool some people sometime, but you cannot fool all the people all the time.
You cannot fool the people all the time. There is one person there that will stand up and say that no, what you are doing, it is not appropriate. Are you getting me what I'm saying? I try to summarize it in that sense. Because when you read that article, you will discover that something is living.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah,
when you read that article, you will discover that he do mention the 1994 coup d'etat. And when the Cameroonian people asked for a balance sheet, they said the money is between France and the United States of America.
Up to date.
And according to that is article, he said that up to date. Nobody has ever given account of that amount of money. And that official who was put in charge of that committee has instead been blessed so many times by the government, giving so many posts of responsibility. And today is the board chair of one company as one of his retirement benefit. He come back to talk about the recently formed, that of 2014, where it was being stepped down and called for Cameroonians that if you don't have physical cash, you can contribute material issue. Those who do not have money had to sacrifice the food they could eat and give it out, so that our military, those who are defending the national integrity of this country, should be well fed in order for us not to have the number of Boko Haram that will enter into the territory and kill us. And surprisingly, most of those articles were found in our supermarket, in our food market here, especially the food items and plantain and some of those things. And nobody sanctioned anybody. No account was given to the Cameroonian people. And today, another solidarity fund. That is why there is no money inside. The fund, everybody is just looking. Even the money bags in Cameroon have decided to stay mute.
Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Margaret.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Let me come and disturb my brother. Good afternoon, my brother Ever.
It's Prince.
Yeah.
Ma. Good afternoon to our guests there in the studio. I've been listening to you, and I want to tell my mentor boy that you can be alone and live your life the way you want to live it. Nobody has problem with you. But the moment you decide to become a leader, the people's leader, it is no longer you living, it is the people you are leading that are living in you. Because you were saying that the leader has to do what he wants to do whenever. No. I don't think so. Margaret, let me deviate a little bit from what you are saying. Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. For the very first time since I was born, I listened to Africa stood up like one person to say no. Mama, you said your weakness about the vaccine that was supposed to come and be tested on the soil of Africa. All of us shouted and said no to it. Main reason we gave was because there are more trouble there than here as far as coronavirus is concerned. But within this week, I heard something on the news that the same people are giving us 7.2 billion to fight coronavirus. And they have cancelled some debts of African countries and maybe even our own. the water. They are the most affected people there with coronavirus. Instead for them to see how they can struggle to stop it, they are coming to help us with money in order to find out what are they aiming at the end. I say other African countries that have been counseled. What is going on? You are in trouble. Instead for you to see how you can fix your house, before you come and fix my own. You want to leave your own house and come and fix my own. And Africans say yes to it. It is high time Africans learn how to say no to some of these gifts, because at the end of it, you don't know what they are aiming at. At the end of it, they'll come back here and take our natural resources away, and will remain with the name of the third continent because we are so poor, we are in need, we are so wretched. That's why they will have to give us money to help us to. Let us learn how to say no to some of these things and suffer the hard way and come out of it. That will be the first step to victory. Margaret, good afternoon to Mr. Fulan. I listened to him over one radio station and I was very happy with his humility. My problem is that the code that he's putting might be tracking his name on the ground because he's a gentleman. We are together.
Okay. Yes, Abel.
Yes, so when you put some of this issue, the Third Solidarity Fund is now up, and Cameroonians are mute. The money bags are not saying anything. Those who are rushing to contribute mostly are those who think that there will be tax cut in their taxpayer card. Some of those are political allies that are coming in. But when we look at all that is happening, Grace, there is something we need to pick out from all what is happening, and trying to put our government to the tax. We cannot continue to live in a country where there is no accountability. It is not appropriate. It helps to dissociate the people from governance, and modern day governance deals with development. And for you to have that appropriate development, you need the support of the people. Grace, for those who grow in the Anglo-Saxon system of culture of Cameroon, you will discover that the people were the backbone, the developmental process of their community. They had to come up with clean-up campaigns. They clean up their city and every type of situation. They had to come up with a work campaign. They had to dig their road even with their hands. They have to build their school even with their hands because of that association. Imagine a situation where you that was put at the head of that different workforce, of that different task force, and you abuse the confidence of the people, be it the chief, be it the king, be it the fund. You will call the people will rebel against you. If our government is panicking that creating another solidarity fund might be a method, because when I follow the speech of the outing of the Minister of Territorial Administration, there is a fear in the clause that those people, if they give them the opportunity, they might use it as an opportunity to raise money to prepare for an eventual something that we don't pray for in this country, a coup d'etat, a stepping over a government, all the stuff. But they said when you beat your child and you allow the child to run and sleep in the neighbor's house, you give the opportunity for the neighbor to change the mentality of that child. And if that child comes back and become a rebel to you, it is you that have given that opportunity. But when you beat the child and drag the child into the house, you give the child another responsibility, another lesson. If the Cameroonian government, if the people managing this different solidarity fund were transparent, today every Cameroonian will be rushing to, because they know that my 100 francs contributed will help to solve a particular situation. But what did they do? They gave no account. They are mute over the situation. They careless about. They go to the who are you system of talking and all the like. And today the people are dissociating themselves to that situation, and they are rushing towards the neighbor. The neighbors are who? The opposition political party. So you see, what we do today, thinking that we are a hindrance or hammering or affecting on the people, we don't know that we are creating a vacuum tomorrow between the people and those in the governing class. So that is just the best way to understand it. If the government does not want a situation like this to happen in the future, they should be transparent in their management. I heard one minister was saying that they will see what the government or the party will do now that they have won a lot of councils. Those are the type of things. When you try to bring those aspects, when you associate the people with transparency, you win their confidence. And when you win their confidence, they associate even their ideology with yours, and everything will be fine.
Nelson Lambris, Can we really blame the CRM for behaving this way?
I will look at it in two angles. The first thing is the government has missed the social capital, the government of this country, and the social capital is the trust of the citizens. The citizen does not have trust in the government any longer. That is why things are happening the way they're happening. During the Boko Haram crisis, the General or the National Solidarity Fund had a lot of effervescence.
Yeah.
I doubt if it's happening today. I myself have contributed for it, and my kid was in a school in Bafut, and she had to sacrifice her 2 weeks pocket money to contribute for her sisters and brothers in the north. I will never forget that. She told me that, Daddy, I'll keep the money I'm eating for 2 weeks and I will contribute in order to help those that are not going to school because of the Boko Haram crisis. But today is not the same because of lack of accountability. That social capital has been put into the dustbin. Now, if the question is, I don't know if the CRM is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. I want to be somebody who actually looks in the ambit of rules and regulation, the conditions of a country. The CRM is not replacing the government of Cameroon. There is no clause in this country where they say if the government fails, the CRM or any opposition party should take over. No, far from that. I don't have anything against the CRM, but if you listen to their communication as per this fund, there is a lot of things that are not clear. The panelists here said the CRM order for a national contribution, but it's not in the ambit of the CRM. We are doing it as a non-political association. Under which association then? In a country, we have 4 types of association. If there is no political party, there is a pressure group, there is a syndicate, what they call syndicat in French, and there is also a civil society association. And if every association, if it's not an NGO, and then you must be working in the ambit of this. The National Solidarity Fund in times of crisis and in times of war, pandemic or epidemic, is only the state that have the authority to issue a National Solidarity Fund. I want to be very categorical and clear about that. Now, if nothing belongs to an association, we can do our internal contribution in our own association, but not asking Cameroonians to contribute. Because when you ask Cameroonians, you don't have any legality nor legitimacy. You don't have any competence. You don't have a jurisdiction. You are doing it as who? The CRM was supposed to contribute their money as the CRM party. I said, okay, this is our own quarter for the National Solidarity Fund. We have 2 billion, but we will not want to give it to the state. Government, can you ask us to go to the East and give what the East people need with our money? The CRM is a private association. They don't have the competence to invite governments to be partnership with them. No, they don't do that. I heard some of them saying that when people have their meetings, they invite the government. Invitation to my party is not countermand for you being associated to my party. If I want to associate you in my party, it means you'll be the ones to go in the chairs, you'll be the ones to go negotiate for the plates, you'll be the ones to negotiate for the spoons. But if I invite you, you are coming to party. You don't even know how much I rented the chairs because you are not associated, but you are just coming as an invitees. But now the CRM party is asking the government to send the representative under which canopy? Is it under the CRM party? Because they said they are doing it out of the CRM. Which association then? They should give us the name of the association. But sincerely, I don't have anything, as I said, against the CRM party. But what they are doing, sincerely, it is out of the ambit of the law. They have so many people who are educated. But I know the modi operandi is to cause confusion and to put the government as if the government has fallen. But my problem is not if the government has fallen or not. We've lost the social capital that the government have, but the CRM party cannot come in and represent the government in this time of crisis. We are talking about a sovereign something. The CRM party does not have any sovereignty. If the National Assembly as a whole or the Bureau sits and give an order for people to contribute, we will know that this is the National Assembly. It's an institution. If the Senate does that, now it is coming from the president. The president is an institution. I'm not talking about the presidency. Whether we like it or not, at times we need to endorse and we need to succumb to the laws of the state. No matter what we are saying, we are in a country that have rules and regulation. If the government have failed, all of us will accept that the government has failed. But there is no provision that says if the government fails, another party should take over the government. First of all, the government is not a party. We have partisans who are working in the government. The government is not a political party. The government may be mingling and swingling and associating with a political party, but here I am seeing Mr. Paul Biya as the president of this country, but not at this particular moment as the president of the CPDM, even though he's accumulating. But here I want to see him as a head of state in my country. And all of us, as I said, need to stand as one person and keep our partisan politics aside. After the COVID-19, we'll start punching ourselves again.
This is a long one. Abdel bin Ismail says, Dr. Fuller, has your resurrected president declared a ceasefire on the war he declared in the northwest and southwest region? Even the Arabs and Israel, Hamas and the Jews have agreed to collaborate to fight COVID-19, but the last time I checked, there is still indiscriminate killings and burning of people and houses in the southern region, southern Cameroon. So, Mr. Fuller, tell your government to declare a ceasefire between the government and the southern Cameroon militias. With regards to the Solidarity Fund of the CRM, I think Mr. Taganji should focus on telling us what the directorate in charge civil protection is doing to protect Cameroonians from COVID-19. Tell your government to reduce suppressed taxes, reduce fuel prices, suppress electricity and water bills, and also see into it that there is no inflation of prices in the markets. That's Abdel. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Fuller.
Yes, I want first of all to, as I'm a teacher, to congratulate Lambris. You know,
when he was talking,
no, please.
We're nodding your head.
As a teacher, you know, he talked about laws, only laws, facts. So, this guy from the CRM don't have the right to do anything. You know, we are very surprised by these local politicians of the CRM. Grace,
no
insults. We have more than 300 political parties in this country.
Yeah, no insults, please.
This party is specialized in provocation. In order to, how can I say, to face the institution, to provoke the institution. This party has been has a speciality in provocation. And we heard that the leader of this party are jurists. We heard something like that. First of all, according to our law, as Lambri brilliantly said, please,
not a jurist, he is a don of law.
As Lambri brilliantly demonstrated, they don't have the right. You know, when you can do your private jangi in your house, in your own association, but when you are a political party, when you are doing something, a kind of fundraising as a political party, you must have, first of all, a writing authorization from the minister in charge of territorial administration. They know it. They know it very well. And then you are also surprised, Grace. We know an eternal absent, Grace. We have a Grand Dialogue National. We have the Northwest and the Southwest. You have the Far North. You have Adamawa. We have never seen DCRM anywhere. Never. They are always absent. How can you understand that suddenly they have a kind of generosity concerning Cameroonian?
Okay, let's just
those guys don't like Cameroon. They don't like Cameroonian.
We'll come back to you. Hello, good evening.
Wait, is Charles coming back?
Yeah,
please,
Charles.
when Mr. Fuller is talking, he should talk about the law. Which law refuses a political party to open a solidarity fund in a time of a pandemic, a natural disaster? You should state the law. You should not just be saying that they have no right. State the law that refuses them to do that. There is a decree that says that the government should control. It did not say that they should give authorization. This is not a match pass. This is not organizing a campaign. This is talking of Cameroonians and their health. Which law? State me that law. Stop speaking nonsense.
Okay. So we will read the law, don't mind. So I will go further and say that we heard a very strange kind of reason. They say that when there is a fire in the house of your neighbor, you have the right to go and assist him. Excuse me, I don't know whether my English is perfectible.
We are getting
you. Cannot close your hand when the house of your neighbor is burning. First of all, I want to tell to those guys of the CRM, this peculiar political party, that not every, how can I say, every fire you cannot put down every fire with water. There's a kind of fire that if you bring water, there's a kind of you will rather speed the fire. So even if you have the good intention, but if you bring water, you will speed the fire. And secondly, we have strange neighbors. We have thief men. We have rapers and so on. So we have dangerous neighbors. So even as I said that we go and assist a neighbor, we have dangerous neighbor. And then I will end by saying that talking about the legitimacy. That's my main concern. The legitimacy is that party has the capacity to talk about the Cameroonian population. Zero mayor, zero senator, zero parliamentarian, zero super mayor, zero team, zero municipal council. Did the party they have any power to talk about the Cameroonian population who have elected them? They said that the elected president. You know, Grace, nobody knows you more than your family. Family Mukake knows you very well. If your own family cannot elect you, your own family, we have the result of the presidential election in the family of Maurice Kamto. His own family cannot, they don't trust him. They didn't elect him. You say that you have win election where?
Politics is not tribalism.
We have
politics should not be tribalistic.
That's what I want to say. That
politics should be based on ideology.
I want to talk about law.
Yes.
Those guys don't have the right to open any fundraising according to the law. According to our law.
That's your point of view. Yes, Abel.
We are tired. We are tired with those guys.
The best.
We are tired. You are so used to saying we are tired with those guys. One day, you know, we are tired with those guys.
One day, what will you do?
Abel.
Yes, guys, I just want to.
Mr.
Fuller just said something which is peculiar with Cameroon politics. Politics should not be based on tribal line. Politics should not be based on family line. Politics should be based on ideology. Okay. That is the essential of politics. Okay. Anything other than politics like that is no longer politics.
Thank you, Mr.
And again, Grace, even though the CRM has raised funds, the Minister of Territorial Administration does not have any competence to close an account.
Thank you.
It's not his domain.
Okay. Mr. Noah Roger.
Yes, I want first of all to tell Mr. Fuller or Dr. Fuller or
whatever, Mr. Fuller, please.
That the law governing political parties does not preclude any political party from raising funds. Maybe he has to read that law again. Okay. And the second thing I want to say is that people should not confuse the public, because the Cameroon Survival Initiative, although it is spearheaded by President-elect and President of Cameroon Reserve Movement, Professor Maurice Kamto, is an initiative of the people of Cameroon. It is a national initiative which is non-partisan, and that's why, as like I said, members of the party are not the one the members of the management committee, and I don't think that by doing that we are transgressing any laws in the country. Okay. No, it's only an expression of the fact that we love Cameroonians, we care about Cameroonians, we care about our people.
And that was it for Topics and Realities today. I want to wish a happy birthday to Madame Julienne Ayi, who is listening to us all the way from Ahala. Jean-Marie Anabaisi. Good afternoon, Jean-Marie.
Good afternoon, Grace Elimunga Mukake. Good afternoon to your guest. Good afternoon to our listeners.
Okay, so how are you doing?
Je suis debout comme le Cameroun.
So what are you going to be discussing this evening?
Oui, on va voir comment le Cameroun se porte. Vous savez, depuis ce matin, la ville est militarisée. C'est l'une des questions qu'on posera à nos invités en studio. C'est vrai que j'ai appris que notre gouvernement a désormais peur même d'un petit oiseau. Et c'est un peu curieux quand on atteint déjà ce niveau-là. Les autres détails, les auditeurs les auront tout à l'heure. Sauf qu'on discutera sur la réapparition. C'était le jour de Pâques, le 16 avril dernier au Cameroun. Exact. La Pâques à la façon des Camerounais, avec la réapparition de Paul Biya, qui pourtant travaillait sur la base des textes. Et l'un des textes qu'il a sorti cette semaine était celui portant commutation et remise des peines, qui fait encore des gorges chaudes au sein de la classe politique, dont on va discuter avec les acteurs politiques et la société civile déjà mobilisés.
Ulrich Kemwe was a sound technician. He was equally a video editor. Editorial coaching was done by Carol Prudence Tienchu, and Ingelewi was a studio's clerk. Coordination was done by station manager Roger Kiegdekiki. Meanwhile, general supervision was done by Reverend Pastor Emmanuel Noel Bisai. At the anchor, I am Grace Limunga Mokake. Good afternoon.
Ces conseils vous sont offerts par l'Union camerounaise de brasserie, UCB.